The big Trump-Putin breakup is everywhere in the news. Trump has officially broken up with the Russian president. Remember how he used to lobby for Russia at G7 and NATO and everywhere else? Now Trump is threatening Russia with 100% secondary tariffs if it does not come up with a ceasefire deal with Ukraine within 50 days. He accused Russia of intensifying missile strikes in Ukraine and is now even hinting at new sanctions, citing the rising civilian toll in Ukraine. This all comes during a meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, one at the Oval Office, where Trump also confirmed that Patriot missile systems are on their way to NATO allies. Some of them will be sourced through swaps with countries that already are using these systems, while the others will be bought by Europe, meaning Europe foots the bill. So while Europe is shelling billions, US is getting a defense boost. In a latest statement, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte threatened countries that trade with Russia, especially in energy sector. He called out names that included India, Brazil, and China, and said that he would impose 100% secondary sanctions on Russia. Now, secondary sanctions are sanctions that will impact Russian economy indirectly, but it will also hit the other countries that trade with Russia. So trade with Russia will get expensive, and one of the biggest losers of this would be India. India purchases Russian crude oil, and purchases have climbed to the highest levels in nearly a year in June. This came as domestic refiners built up stocks amid rising tensions in West Asia due to Israel-Iran conflict, when the prices of oil hit record highs. As per some reports, India imported 2.08 million barrels per day of Russian crude last month, the highest volume since July 2024. After the West imposed sanctions on Russia in 2022, Russian sellers offered deep discounts, and Indian refiners took it as an opportunity and shifted their sourcing. Now, Russia provides nearly 40% of India's crude oil imports. Even the defense sector will take a hit. India is a major buyer of Russian defense. 36% of India's weapons are imported from Russia. While the imports are now much diverse, but it still is India's largest arms supplier. India still depends on Russia for several key defense systems like the S-400. Now let's get to the harsh truth. India buys Russian oil and refines it. But who buys it from India? The dark reality is that it is being refined in India and sold to guess who? Europe and US as diesel, jet fuel, and other products. Netherlands is one of the largest buyer of Indian refined diesel, and that goes across Germany, France, and Belgium. Italy too imports significant quantities of diesel and jet fuel from India. US too is a buyer, and so is South Africa, Brazil, and Singapore. So while the West wants to sanction New Delhi, it will also hurt itself in the process. What it can do though is sanction third-party suppliers of semiconductors, drones, and dual-use goods to Russia like China, the Gulf, and the Central Asia, or crack down on their payment systems and hit their economy directly instead of imposing sanctions on other countries.
If you like this video, then like, share, and subscribe to ET Now.